everybody, welcome to this playthrough for Pro Division in the Paradise Islands tournament. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Click at the subscribe box in the bottom right corner. Also, visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content. Last but not least, get the best tournament text guides on the market by becoming a Patreon. Link to patreon.com/golfclashtommy is in the description down below. This is gonna be a tough tournament, and what I mean with tough is that it's not gonna be tough to get the par score, meaning a -12, but it's going to be tough to get something to drop. I'm doing my best here, providing you with the best possible adjustment here from the start. Obviously, this adjustment is applied to be tweaked, and that is what we're doing throughout the tournament week. So make sure you check out the streams and the other content that is followed the playthrough here on the channel. Use the info box on the right hand side where you can find the elevation for the drive for the second shot. Also, what type of ball and club I feel is going to be key for approaching that specific hole. But enough talk about that, and let's go to hole number 1. For the first hole here in Pro, we are actually going to experience a shot with Mr. Big Topper, which is going to be the better way to play this hole in my opinion. Reason is because we do want to get as far down the fairway, and that would give us a possibility to play not with a dead-on straight tailwind, but it will be giving us at least a possibility for a very good wind, but also with either a long iron in minimum distance or a short iron in maximum distance. We are going to change here with a katana ball. We're using all but like 2 bars topspin, but I would say use max topspin and then 1 bar side spin to the right. Maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment, and you're gonna see the ball bouncing before the rough and the sand, trying to gain as much distance as possible. And now when we're not using max topspin, we are obviously gonna let this ball die into long iron range towards the pin. Here you can see the long iron. We are very close to minimum distance, and here it's all about finding a spot that gives you some sort of consistency, which is gonna be difficult. I'm not saying it's gonna be easy, so this is not gonna be a gimme by any means. 3 bars of backspin, and we're going to aim for the hole here. And 3 bars is looking very good here because we are on a little plateau, which is going to be a bit more helpful in my opinion, adjusting for the pin here. The only problem here is that I'm adjusting for medium distance of my club, which obviously is wrong, as looking again at the club distance here, we should be adjusting this one more so close towards the minimum distance. And that's why you will see this shot miss on the left hand side. 10% over adjustment it is, but make sure you adjust for the correct club range, otherwise you're gonna miss like I do. For hole number 2, I was expecting a much more favorable wind. Unfortunately, that's not the case, and we're having tailwind. And now you will see a shot with a sniper level 9, which is the same as sniper level 10, meaning that we're using 6.5 bar backspin with both of the clubs. And we're lining up as normal, white ring by the fringe, ball guideline to the hole. And the thing that we need to have in mind here, my friends, is the problem with 2 things. Tailwind also going from a lower point to a higher point. Both of those things makes you gain distance. Like the adjusting to a higher point makes you gain distance or like carry further, and the tailwind makes the ball have a longer first and second bounce, which means that we need more backspin if we're gonna play that shot. So the sniper is out of the question, and we need to play with the guardian. So the guardian is going to be the club that you are going to choose if you're gonna play that shot, but instead of 6.5 bar backspin, you're using 8 bars of backspin, adjusting maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. There is another alternative that we can try to go with. This is not dialed in by any means, but it is a rough bump. Use the Goliath, as the Goliath has a lot of topspin, and now we don't need maximum topspin here. I'm, trying to be stupid for my own good here, I guess. So, or like too smart for my own good, not stupid. Smart for my own good. And the thing that we're looking for here is obviously ball guideline to be before the pin, because Goliath level 7 does not have a fully developed ball guideline, and this is gonna come to halt. But we have the same issue here, everyone, with adjusting from a lower point to a higher point, and therefore we're gonna gain more distance. Look how far up we are there on the rough, and that makes us kick right and also roll too far. My suggestion would be go Guardian, use backspin, and don't expect an hole-in-one on this hole, unfortunately, as the wind is such badly positioned for us here in Pro. For hole number 3, we're looking once again for a driver with a decent amount of topspin. And now, as we do have the extra mile level 7, 4.5 it will have to do. 4.5 bar topspin and as much side spin to the left possible. And now you can see that I stretch out. The important part here when you stretch out is to notice how many rings are you into overpower. I would say that we were very close to 3 rings into overpower, and then I would take that and remove 1 ring. So I would play this one 2 rings instead, like I'm going to push up 2 rings instead of the 2.5 that I just did there. Now we're going to take just a normal shot, and we're going to unfortunately hit great left. But here also goes towards why I only want you to push up 2 rings instead of 2.5, because look how close we were to the rough line there for the double bounce, and with a perfect we gain a little bit more distance, and then we need to be very careful, because if we do die short in the rough, we cannot reach for the green in 2. But if we manage to do the double bounce correctly, then we actually have, I'm not gonna say a good chance, but we have a chance. Because dropping an albatross on this one is a major bonus. So here you can see that I'm using 3 bars topspin, focusing on the tip of the ball guideline to be approximately 1.5 green square before the pin. The thing that I shouldn't is to just do that. I should have aimed directly for the pin, because I thought, okay, it's a tailwind, the ball is gonna have a longer first bounce, but doesn't really apply here in this hole when we already are over adjusting 20%. Maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment, and you can see that this ball coming in very nicely towards the green here, but look how much we miss. We miss with 1.5 green squares. So don't offset anything, ball guideline to the hole, maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. Then you're gonna be close, and you know what? You might gonna drop that one for an albatross. For hole number 4, we are going to experience one of the tougher par 3s in the game. I want us to use the rocket as the first alternative. Here I'm looking for the bottom part of the yellow ring, just by the fringe at the bottom left corner. Here we're using 6.2 backspin, and that's because that's maximum. I would love to play with 6.5 to 7 bars of backspin instead. 1 bar of left spin, and you can see that the ball guideline is coming in on the right hand side of the pin here. And here we need to adjust for a medium distance with a 10% over adjustment with the rocket. And as you again need to understand that playing hole 4 and playing there on that pad requires backspin. And you can see here, even though we bounce very nicely coming in here and we get this one in the hole for a nice hole-in-one, we come in a little bit hot. And the reason we do that is because we need a little bit more backspin on our club. So you need a rocket level 10 or you need a Thor's hammer level 6 plus. If you don't have any of those type of clubs, or you can try to play with the rocket level 9 as well, then you will have to play with a sniper, and then we're going to back up and do a double bounce. This is obviously not the best possible way, but it's a way. So we're going to use 1 top, 1 left. 1 top spin, 1 left spin, ball guideline to the hole. And red ring, top part of red ring by the rough line, and then we're going to adjust 6.9 rings. And the 6.9 rings is not what I'm adjusting here. I'm adjusting 7.4, and you're going to notice that we will miss this shot on the right hand side. So if we would just kept ourselves playing medium distance with a 10% over adjustment, we would see this ball being very close to the hole. So this is an alternative route to those of you who are not having backspin on your club, and you're gonna see that this ball is gonna come in nicely, and if we get it, we get it. It's an interesting approach at least. For hole number 5, we're going to give ourselves a very good opportunity. That's because we are going to do our best to go over to the right hand side. Here, as we do not really have that much tailwind, I would like us to play with the big topper. I think the big topper here will work splendid, and we're using that together with a power 3 ball. Using as much topspin as possible, and have in mind that whatever big topper level you're having, you have max topspin. The only difference that will be is the distance, and here you're gonna have to follow what I'm saying now. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. And once we have adjusted our shot here with the big topper level 5, we are going to push up this club one ring. So once we are pushed up that one ring, we're just going to take a normal shot, and then we're going to try to do a double bounce over the rough here. And don't be alarmed if you hit the rough with your first bounce. You will most likely roll through anyway, or you will be stuck in the rough and still have no problem reaching the green in 2. If you do have another big topper level, maybe a little bit less level, then you will have to push up more. But very important to, you know, stretch out, add spin, stretch out, take a look at where the second bounce is to make it possible to count out how many rings you need to push up in the end. Second shot, we're playing with the Thorn or the Hornet or the Falcon or whatever short iron you are feeling comfortable with. Sure, we can go for the dunk. I got that question a lot when I played this one on stream. And then the biggest reason why I'm not going for the dunk is because if we hit the pin, we are 100% going to roll into the rough. And then that is a dunk that I'm not going to risk. 2 bars of top spin, max side spin to the right, ball guideline to the hole, and you can see I'm using the yellow ring just there by the rough line. And then we're going to adjust for a little bit more than medium distance of our club with no elevation. And you're going to notice here that the reason we play right hand side maybe make a little bit trickier drive than what we have to, but we're getting straight tailwind for the second shot, which will reward us to a very good opportunity for an eagle. So get in the hole, take the eagle for hole number 5. For hole number 6, we are going to use the driver that gives us the most topspin. More topspin, the better. And we are in maximum distance of our club, as you can see clearly here on the video. 4.5 bar topspin and as much side spin to the right possible. And once again, if you have a driver with more topspin, use more topspin. Big topper is also a possible club here, but I like to keep myself in the distance here, and also especially when the fairway is pretty thin, it is nice to have a possibility to actually hit great left or great right, because with the big topper, that ball is gonna fly either left or right if you hit great. So maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. You can see we're getting very close to the rough there, and that's because we're only using 10. So use 20% over adjustment instead of 10%, and then we're gonna have a little bit more room, especially also when we hit when or if we hit a great right. Second shot, we can go for the rough bump here, but in the end, that thin strip of rough with a straight tailwind is not to recommend. But you can also see here that we're actually looking for the ball guideline to the hole. One thing to also have in mind is if you move a little bit more right, there is a funnel there towards the pin. And I do think here that it doesn't really matter what type of position you're finding here. The important part is to actually find a consistent way for the ball guideline to be shown. We need to have in mind as well that we're playing in tailwind, so the first bounce is going to be longer, and therefore we need to compensate for that by having the ball guideline to be before the pin. Otherwise we're going to come in too hot. No elevation whatsoever, and this is, in my opinion, with this type of wind, it's actually a pretty decent chance for an albatross here in Pro. For hole number 7, we are going to play with a katana and a sniper. And here, because a katana makes us to be in just perfect minimum distance. 7 bars of left spin and 1 bar of top spin. And we're going to go for a first bounce on the fairway, second bounce into the rough, and then want the ball to roll down towards the pin. Technical shot, I know, but this is, in my opinion, going to be the best possible way of making the hole-in-one consistently, because now we don't need to use any curl and we can just play it as it is. Minimum distance with a 10% over adjustment, And as you can see there with the ball guideline, I want to be on the left hand side watching it from the tee towards the pin position. So as you can see here, we come in nicely and we just missed to the right. So if we could leave the ball guideline approximately half a green square to the left of the pin, we're gonna be super duper close, if not in the hole. For hole number 8, we are going to find ourselves with a very good opportunity, in my opinion. I use the quarterback for a drive, 4 bars topspin, and then we adjust maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. And we obviously are starting into max position here, and the thing that we're looking for is to get into long iron maximum distance for the rough bump. So simple drive, getting it down the fairway. We are looking for a yardage because now when playing directly straight forward, the 337 yards is going to be super valuable. Second shot, and here it comes towards why I believe a kingmaker is going to be super duper valuable. Now have in mind here that we are very close into maximum distance, and the thing that we're going to look for is to adjust for maximum distance with a 45, so 4-5 extra elevation. And we're looking for the rough bump. I want to have said that if you don't feel comfortable playing the rough bump because it is a thin strip of rough, then you back up and you play on the fairway island before, using 2.5 bar backspin and bouncing that towards the pin instead of using 1 bar backspin going for the rough bump like we are doing here. The rough bump here will be the best way to get an eagle on this tough par 4. But once again, I'm choosing left hand side to have an easy drive to give myself a yardage node to rely on, and then have a much better and easier way to find consistency on this par 4. That's the reason why I play left and not right. For hole number 9, it's the final hole for this playthrough. We are going to play with the extra mile and also a Titan ball. We're looking for to use as much side spin left possible, combined with 4 bars of topspin in this tailwind. The thing that I was looking for there in the beginning was trying to think, should we maybe go, full blast and see what happens? But I changed my mind, which was good. So 4 topspin, as much left spin possible, and we're aiming very close to max distance, but especially looking for the second bounce. Second bounce to be clearly over the rough, but also showing a little bit more on the left side of that fairway. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and then we're going to take our shot. The ball is going to bounce on the fairway over the rough and then roll as far as possible. And the further the better, the easier the second shot is going to be. 348. For the second shot, we're going towards the pin, and here it's the beautiful part that we do have a sniper, because now we can actually have a ball guideline to work with. This shot is very iffy though, and the reason it is like that is because it's very hard to estimate how hot we will go go towards the pin. Like in tailwind, we are going to have to leave the ball guideline short so we don't go too fast towards the pin. Now we're going to adjust for maximum distance with no over and under adjustment when we are approaching the pin. So the Titan ball here, we are going to take our shot, and then we're going to go again, trying to go for the albatross. I'm not expecting this one to drop, but at least we will be giving ourselves a decent opportunity. Coming unfortunately in a little bit too much to the right. Speed wise it was okay though. So sniper, make sure you have the sniper, but especially make sure you play with a power 3 ball so you don't have to go with overpower for the second shot. Thank you so much for watching this playthrough for Pro Division in the Paradise Islands tournament. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and I must say, this is going to be a much more difficult tournament. There isn't any room for mistake. There is no gimmicks whatsoever, and we need to fight for every single drop. In this playthrough you see 2 drops, but also a couple of other very close ones that is, I would call embryos, that we can work with trying to improve our tournament around. I would say a par score in my book is going to be -12, which means that we are making the birdies, making the eagles where we should be. So everything above that, or like lower than that, is going to be massive going forward in the tournament. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Join our Discord. Link to Discord in the description down below. Also, go and get the best tournament text guides on the market on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Thank you so much everybody for watching, and good luck in the tournament.